Today is what I'm going to do is basically give you a rundown on how to utilize the KAVA platform. Basically, KAVA is a lending and borrowing platform where if you lend your assets, you get high APY, and then you can borrow against those assets. In other words, utilizing those lent assets as collateral to borrow some assets for a lower APY. For those that don't want to do the borrow feature, is what you could do is just lend your assets in order to achieve the high APY. Why this is particularly appetizing to the investor right now is that they just recently had the KAVA 9 upgrade on January 19th. And from there, they have sponsored basically or put on an event titled the Surge event, where they have a surge in the APYs. The first token that they did starting, I think, January 21st was the ATOM token, where the APYs were extremely high. And of course, as total more volume or more people started putting their capital into the lend protocol, the KAVA lend, the APY obviously came down, but they are going to have another surge event on starting February 25th. So in just about 2 weeks. And so now's the time to really start positioning yourself to be able to partake in this and acquire or earn those heightened APYs. So without further ado, this is the Medium article. I'll put it in the description below. But basically, if we scroll down to the bottom here, it says during the surge event, especially at the beginning, AKT suppliers can expect to receive reward APYs greater than 140%. So basically is what this is saying is those that take their Akash tokens and lend them to the KAVA lend protocol, they will get higher than 140%. The benefit of lending at such a high APR is that you can go back and you can borrow against your lent assets, basically collateralizing them, and you can then loop it if you would like to. Just one time is what I would generally do, but it's all up to the investor. So basically is what I'm doing is just giving a rundown on how to utilize it. So without further ado, is what we need to do is first make sure that we have some Akash in our wallet, and also make sure that we have some ATOM, because the ATOM lend surge event is currently live right now. I'll go ahead and add one ATOM to the lend protocol in order to achieve those APRs. So let's run over here to the KAVA lend. We'll connect our wallet, and then you can see here that the supply is enabled for the ATOM token, and it's currently 45% APY for simply lending your ATOM token. And again, it's not live for Akash, but you can see that they have XRP here also. So if you wanted to buy KAVA, send it over here and then trade your KAVA for XRP, which is basically a representation of the actual XRP token on the XRP ledger, then you could do that if you wanted exposure to XRP, and you could get a supply APY of 5.4%. So today is what we're going to do is the first thing is we need to bring our KAVA over here. So we're going to click on balances and we're going to scroll down. You can see they already have Akash added for the event that's going to go live on February 25th, but they have ATOM here. So we basically want to load our ATOM onto the KAVA platform from the Kepler wallet. Okay, so I'm just going to bring one ATOM over here, or 1.2 is fine, just because we want to leave gas in the Kepler wallet. Wait for this to settle. Okay, and this transaction has been completed. I brought the ATOM tokens over here. And so is what we can also do is just go ahead and load our Akash tokens. And the reason to do this, if you wanted to, is basically we want to make sure we leave gas over there in the Kepler wallet. So we'll just bring 9 over. But the reason you would want to do this is just to position yourself if you wanted to partake in the surge event. And of course, you still have 15 days. It's only the 10th right now. That's why I'm not bringing that much over here, but I'm closer to the 25th and the launch of the surge event. I will bring more Akash over here in order to partake in this. So I'll go ahead and load the 9 on here just to show you guys how to do it. Okay, and that's settled. So now we've brought our Akash tokens over here. Relatively simple. We can't really do anything with it, even though it's over here. We can't lend or borrow with it, but we can do that with our ATOM token that we also brought over here. So now what we'll do is we'll run up here to this display here, and we'll basically just click on the lend feature. Okay, and now you can see that ATOM is at the top because I've already lent a little bit, but here for you guys, I'll go ahead and supply, and I'll supply the complete 1.2 ATOM. And with doing that, I'll get the 46.46 APR. Okay. Okay, and this transaction's finished. And so now is what we're earning without doing anything else. We are earning that 46.49%. And so you can imagine when the AKT Surge event launches and there's the above 140% APR, you will be able to basically just do this and lend it. But for those of you that are interested, is what you can then do is you can go down here to the borrow feature, and it allows you to borrow 60% of what you've collateralized for a much lower fee. The interest on borrowing is 0.68%, but the interest we're accruing for supplying or lending is nearly 47%. Okay, so I'll mint one ATOM, and I'll borrow this, sign the transaction. Okay, this transaction settled. And so now I'm borrowing. And so now at this point, if you really wanted to, I could go ahead and take this back and to my Kepler wallet, or I could loop it and I could supply more I could supply that one ATOM to, again, get 46.49% interest. Or is what I could do is I could take that ATOM token and I could basically go to balances, and then I could unload one whole ATOM back to my Kepler wallet if that's what we wanted to do. And then by doing that, you could basically take it to other exchanges. Now, if you do this, remember that in order to pay your loan off, you will have to eventually bring that money back over here. For me, I'm not going to do that. All I'll do is I'll do a one-time loop where I'll go to the lend, and then I will go ahead and basically on that one ATOM that I borrowed, I will go ahead and lend that as well to accrue additional interest, and just wait for this to process. And basically by doing this, you're increasing the interest that you're accruing, and the transaction settled. And so we're finished with this. So with that being said, there are risks with doing this. But if you're borrowing the same exact asset that you're collateralizing, so in this example, I'm supplying or I'm lending ATOM, right? That's my collateral. And then I'm borrowing against that ATOM, and it allows you to borrow up to 60%. And there is something called liquidation. But if you're borrowing the same asset of which you're lending, then the prices fluctuate together, and there's not as much of a risk of liquidation. And so with that being said, I hope you guys find this video helpful. For those that aren't interested in the borrow feature, then just lend it and you can get that high APR. But again, so what we did is we brought ATOM over from the Kepler wallet. We went ahead and supplied it to KAVA Lend to get this APR. And then we borrowed against the ATOM. And then I went ahead and supplied that borrowed ATOM to earn additional yield. I also brought over 9 AKT tokens just to demonstrate how to do that. And those 9 AKT tokens will now be positioned for the KAVA Surge event for the AKT token when that goes live on February 25th, barring any setbacks. With that being said, thank you for joining me in this video.